Hi, everyone. I'm so honored to be here today and to share my story with you. About 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease, and at one point, I honestly thought I was facing death. To be on this stage today, I went through a lot to overcome this complex disease. Navigating being chronically ill and disabled while I was discovering myself as a designer allowed me to use my story to create a healthier world for myself and all beings. It's pretty interesting, but Lyme disease symptoms are actually worsened by the effects of climate change. Yet I continually find healing in connecting with the natural world. In the past 4 years, I have been humbled by Earth's power to heal. I love sharing my healing journey with others, especially if I can visualize it through design. When I started my project Leaves, I simply just wanted to recreate my beautiful and intimate relationship with the earth for other people. Now, I know that most of you are aware of climate change, whether you want to be or not. And you know that humans are the ones causing it. To get to the root cause into how one species can have such a negative impact on the earth, I had to do some digging. There actually was a very easy answer to my question: human exceptionalism. Human exceptionalism is the belief that humans are the most important entity in the universe. It is the reason that we have been able to separate ourselves from nature and try to control it. It is the reason that we have self-promoted our species to the top of the pyramid. In her book, The Mushroom at the End of the World, Anna Zing challenges our comfortable seats at the top of the pyramid. She says, "In protected homes across the empire, humans circle up in their armchairs with their pets and their species-simulated snacks to watch the destruction of the rest of the world on TV. It is hard to know whether any humans will survive such domestic dreams." I began to think about, where are all these domestic dreams existing in my own life? And this brought me back to my near-death experience 4 years ago. Realizing that so many of us are afraid of death and our own mortality, however, more importantly, at death, our species actively disconnects from nature. While all other species decay and return to the earth, we strive to do the exact opposite. In the United States, we deplete immense amount of resources to make our coffins, we emit toxins into the air during cremation, and we contaminate our water during embalming. Embalming is the chemical process used to clean our bodies after death. But more importantly, embalming preserves the bodies. So when we are buried deep below the surface in airtight wood and concrete boxes, we remain stuck in our domestic dream forever. The only remedy to our human exceptionalism is to remove our species from the top of the pyramid. By placing ourselves back into the circle of life, we can be humbled and realize the idea that we actually are nature. Leaves is a coffin that gives us an opportunity to transform from death into new life. With the use of fungus, it helps our bodies have a greater purpose after death. The rope has a dye embedded with spores. So once the body is buried, fungus grows to speed up decomposition. It also eats our toxins, so only our nutrients like oxygen and nitrogen go into the soil. Fungi are amazing organisms that give great detail about the human condition. We eat mushrooms, which are fungi, and then we also watch them break down our rotten food. But what leaves does is think about how fungus can be the connection that brings humans back into the circle of life. At death, we can use fungus to humble our species for the good of the earth. The poet Walt Whitman marveled at the earth's ability to transform our decaying bodies into new life. When I reflect on his writing, I think about how much we have taken from the earth during our lives, yet it is still willing to accept us back. So let us take our bodies full of amazing organic material and return to the soil. Many people have said to me, why can't we just wrap the body in a traditional shroud and put it bare into the ground? Many cultures around the world do this. Well, unfortunately today, in 2019, our bodies are super toxic, from like the pesticides we eat to the chemicals we put on our skin. So if you just put a body bare into the ground and it decomposes, all of those toxins go with it. So this coffin solution to this contemporary problem means that now we can positively impact the earth after we die. About 1 year after the body has been buried, a tree can be planted above the burial site as a physical memorial. This transforms our definition of a cemetery, where once a piece of land full of dead bodies, is now a beautiful park full of new life. The materials are chosen very carefully, so not to introduce any invasive species into the ecosystem. Also, in the United States, we attempt to personalize our funerals, like dressing the deceased in their favorite outfit. I wanted Leaves to do this as well. So the materials are chosen from where the person has lived and is being buried. So of course, I had to make this coffin for myself. I live in northeastern United States, so the wood is made from pine trees, the rope is made from cotton, and it is dyed with leftover red onion skin. During my research, I learned about funeral practices all over the world, different cultures, different religions. It's absolutely amazing. However, I realized that from all of this that United States is lacking a very important component: ritual. I was so inspired how families are really involved in the funeral process. So I definitely wanted Leaves to share this. The family and whoever is mourning can be a part of the coffin's creation. I was exploring art therapy as a way of healing, so I chose the coffin to be made with macrame, a process of tying rope. This process is so meditative and emotional, and so when the family is making it, they actually have time to grieve. And when you are given time to grieve, that's when you can find healing and acceptance. So overall, Leaves is a sustainable coffin that helps us positively impact the earth after death, but it is also an amazing ritual that allows us to find healing during a tough time. Overall, I want Leaves to create the conversation that not many people want to have. Rather than being afraid of death, let us embrace that we can become new life. And most importantly, let us remember the profound idea that we are nature. Now, before I leave, I want to challenge you all to start thinking about the death and the funeral you want to have. It sounds silly, but when you are active participants in your entire life cycle, it's truly profound. If you see me throughout the rest of the conference, please come share your ideas. I would love to hear them. Thank you.